Welcome to this week's Bible Topics discussion. We're glad you're with us for this episode. The title of today's discussion is Always Seek God's Counsel.
That's right. Have you ever had a decision to make and wondered just what you should do? Then you remember that you haven't prayed and sought counsel from the Lord. Then when you do, the answer becomes crystal clear. Or maybe it takes a little longer, but you still get your answer. I know there have been times when I was in the middle of something and realized that I had not prayed about it. In those times, I sort of kicked myself, then turned to God in prayer, and it's not too long before I have the answer or decision I was seeking. Well, this happened to Joshua, except the outcome wasn't so good. As my mother used to say, he flubbed the dub, meaning he messed up.
Right. This story is told in Joshua chapter 9, which is a little long to read here, but you can read it when you have time. The people of Gibeon, an area just north of Jerusalem in Israel, had heard what Joshua and the Israelites had done to other countries and were a bit fearful. They sent an envoy to Joshua that pretended to be from a very far country. They even packed old bread, wore worn-out clothing and shoes, and carried worn-out bags to make Joshua think they had been traveling for many days. Joshua questioned them, thinking they might actually live nearby, but they convinced him that they didn't. They wanted him to make a covenant with them, that he would let them live. It seems that Joshua had a red flag about what they were saying and about their intentions. But instead of seeking God's counsel on what to do, he agreed to make a covenant with them, and he did.
3 days after he made the covenant with them, he found out that they lived very nearby. He called them to come to him, and he let them know that they had been found out. But because he had made the covenant with them to let them live, he instead made them slaves, and they had to chop wood and draw water for the congregation of Israelites and for the altar of the Lord.
Most of us don't have to make decisions that are quite as big as Joshua did, but we all have decisions and choices to make, big and small. This incident should serve to let us know that we should always seek God's counsel and His will in our decisions and circumstances. And don't ever think that God doesn't care about the small things in life as well as the big things. He does.
Yes, he does. We have sought God in life-changing decisions like getting a new job and moving, or whether to sell our house and build a new one. We've also sought His help in small things, like finding things that we've lost, like our son's watch when he was a young boy and lost it on the church grounds. 3 of us searched for it at 3 different times. While I was searching, I realized I hadn't prayed. So I did, then turned around and looked for just a few more seconds, and there it was, shining up at me in the grass, right where all 3 of us had searched. Sometimes we need a reminder to seek God. Joshua needed that reminder, and it seems that God sent him one, but he didn't take it.
Here are some encouraging scriptures that talk about seeking God's counsel. Psalm chapter 73, verse 24a says, "You guide me with your counsel." Psalm chapter 16, verse 7a says, "I will praise the Lord who counsels me." Psalm 32, verse 8, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way which you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you." In James chapter 1, verse 5, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you."
Well, that's it for this week. Please like, comment, and share, and let us know if you have any questions. We'd love to hear from you.
See you next week. Be blessed.